So you asked me the question as to why we are here, and I answered that the question itself is not valid because there is no one here who can ask that question. Now, since I said that you have to understand as to the answer to the question, who am I? And the answer to that question is basically you are 5 things. The first thing, you are a physical body which has its own intelligence but it doesn't think, so it will not ask that question. Second thing, you are the mind. Mind is nothing but an accumulation of memories, and people believe that there is a conscious mind, there is a subconscious mind, there is a unconscious mind, but God says no, there is no such thing. These are all created by the humans who are trying to understand the mind, but they are using the mind to understand the mind, but still not getting what the mind is. Mind basically is just an accumulation of memories. Then you come to the thing called your personality. Now in your personality, all those things comes, which is your programming, which is your beliefs, which is your conditioning. So these are all given by the society, by the parents, by teachers, by the media. So all these things together has created the personality of what you are and who you are. So you are mind, body, personality. Now you are also an energy body, a set of energy bodies which currently can be scientifically proven because they can take the photograph of the aura. So because they can take the photograph of the aura, there is a proof that yes, there is something more than the physical body. But they cannot take yet the photograph of the energy bodies. They can only take the photograph of something which is coming out of the energy bodies, exist all around. So they still do not understand the energy bodies. And so apart from physical body, mind, personality and energy body, and the 5th thing that you are is known as spirit. And what is spirit? So spirit is nothing but a part of the totality of the universe. But what is the universe? You might say the universe means planet Earth, the sun, the galaxy. No, I am not talking universe in that way. These are what exists in the universe. These are the objects of the universe. The universe is the mind of the creator God, or mind of the king, or the mind of the Kal Brahm. Kal Brahm is one of a character, he is a cosmic being. So this Kal Brahm also has many other names, like we call him Mahadev, some call him Allah, some call him Jehovah, some call him Vaheguru, some call him the Lord or the Father. So basically all these names are pointing to one character. The mind of that character is known as the matrix or the Maya Jal, and a portion of that matrix enters into a human. In fact, it also enters into any living being and non-living being, because this is what gives life to an object, or life to a human, life to a dog, life to a cat. This is known as spirit. So what is spirit? Spirit is a portion of the matrix coming in. What is the job of the spirit? The job of the spirit is to read the storyline that has been written by the soul. So I did not say you are the soul. In the 5 things, I never said you are soul, because you are not your soul. You are a character created out of a story written by the soul. Okay. Who created that character? Because the soul wrote a story. It is like a story writer writing a story for a movie, but that story is not the movie. So in order to make that movie, you have to bring in director, you have to bring in the cameraman, you have to bring in the actors, you have to create the set, but that is all happening in the movie. In your case, it is the spirit which is creating the character from the story in line with the story. If the story decides that this character has to be an aggressive person, then you are made aggressive. If the story decides you have to be a knowledgeable person, you will have the capacity to read and absorb knowledge. If the story decides that you have to be a painter, you will have the sensitivity and the movement of your fingers to make beautiful sketches. So this character is created from the story, in line with the story, according to the story. What creates it? The spirit. And it creates the character over a period of many years, not instantly. Up till now you are following whatever I have said?
Yes.
Okay. So, and the job of the spirit is to give you life force. Without life force, your system will not operate. Life force is energy. Without energy, your body will not work, your mind will not work, you will not have the capacity to run around the whole day and do what your storyline wants you to do. So you need energy. Some people are given lots of energy because they are pushed to do lots of work, and some people are given less energy because they are pushed to do less work. So if in the storyline it is written that you are a lazy person, then spirit will give you less energy. If the storyline says that you have to rule the country, then spirit will give you more energy. So amount of energy you get is in accordance with what is written in the storyline. So now you are getting some sense of what is spirit.
Yes, sir.
So what you are now, again I come back. Physical body, mind, character, energy body and spirit. Now you ask me a question, why am I here? The spirit doesn't care about that question. The physical body doesn't care about that question. The mind is nothing but a set of memories. It doesn't care about that question. It is only the character which cares about this question. So the one who asked the question was the character, the personality. And this personality has a habit of asking questions. So it is just like when the apple fell on the head of Newton, he was troubled by a question called, why did it fall? Why? Because he was meant, the spirit was forcing him in a certain direction in order that he will investigate and finally come to an understanding of gravity and then create the laws of gravity. But it is the spirit. There were many people on whom the apple fell, the coconut fell, many things fell, and no one bothered to really ask that question. Because it was not in their storyline.
Yes. Okay.
It was only in Newton's storyline. And so he was made to go after, and probably his friends would have said, why do you bother about all these nonsense questions? Because who wants to spend over a time over a question called, why did the apple fall? Well, it has been falling for a long time. So, it's like, why do we die? Well, we have been dying for a long time. It's natural. But this fellow was troubled by that question, and when you are troubled, now you have to investigate. And because he kept on investigating, he then found many things, which became everything about the foundation of what we call as the particle science. Okay. So this is the way that the spirit pushes us. But if another person says, I also am going to become a scientist like Newton, well, unless it is in a storyline, he won't be able to go more than a few paces. Very soon he will come with an exam in science and he will find all this information is not going in, he is not able to understand, he is not able to digest, and he is not able to answer those questions, and he will lose his interest. Why? Because the spirit doesn't want him to go in that direction. So it is the spirit that decides in which direction you will go. So you have this question, why am I born? What is my purpose of being here? Now for some people that question could be so troubling that they will leave aside everything else and run after all kind of reading religious books, spiritual books, meeting the masters, doing meditation, doing yoga, doing this, doing that, because the spirit is pushing him. But another person, probably his friend, also got that question and he's like, oh yeah, interesting question, but let's go and have a cup of tea. Because the spirit is not pushing him in that direction. So he dabbled with the question, but he did not find it interesting. He dropped it. A cup of tea was more interesting. But for the other person, he would leave everything, because he has become kind of stuck in that question. So spirit has made him stuck on that question, so that he moves to investigate, to learn, to inquire, to practice, to meet people. He will travel great distance to meet some masters. He will climb the mountain. He will go deep into the jungle. Everything he will do, because the spirit is pushing him that you have to do it. Go there, find the answer, listen to what that person says, and then he hears everything very carefully, comes and contemplates, another question comes up. Again he is out in search of another guru, another master, another teacher. Why is he doing all these things? Because it is written in the storyline that he has to do. What is the spirit job? Spirit's job is only executing the storyline. So he makes this character according to the storyline and makes the character run. And when the character runs, the mind also follows, the body also follows. Because now how does the spirit make a character run? The way it does that is by putting thoughts, feelings, emotions in us. You might be feeling this question is your question, but you have no question which is your question. You have no thought which is yours. They are all put in. But the psychologist or neurologist will say that all the thoughts come from inside us. They will say it comes from the subconscious mind. They will say it comes from the unconscious mind. Nothing comes from the subconscious and unconscious. Everything is put in. And if we have anything which has been pushed down, it is the spirit doing that. Okay, let's put these things deep in you, embed in you, and this will make you run. So all those thoughts about which we have already heard, we are recycling them from our memory, and any new thoughts that are coming in are being put in by the spirit. So all the scientists who do all the copyright thing, because they feel it was their thought which created that device or that theory or that object, do not understand that those thoughts were not his thoughts. He was given the thoughts, he was given the feelings behind those thoughts, he was given the capacity to digest that thought, and he was pushed in a certain direction where he saw the results which confirmed that the thoughts are true. And then he wrote a theory, he wrote a theorem, he wrote an algorithm, He wrote all these kind of things. He wrote laws. But humans are under the impression, I am the one who is thinking, I am the one who is doing, I am the one who is executing. None of them are true. And that is why I said the question is not valid for the simple reason that the person asking that question is only asking because the spirit is pushing him to ask or pushing her to ask. So they are not your questions. They are the question of that the spirit is putting in to create certain amount of conversations, certain amount of drama, certain amount of quest. Then you will say, but that is when it is in the storyline. All our meetings are outside the storyline, because when you are with God and doing the work of God, so here God is orchestrating instead of spirit. In order for this conversation to happen and a clarity to emerge in terms of who a human is. You got that question? Okay. So basically all these serials, why do they appeal to a set of humans? I'm not saying it appeals to all, but it appeals to a set of humans who are fascinated with the game of power, who are fascinated with the game of money, who are fascinated with the game of control, who are fascinated with the game of domination, who are fascinated with the game of becoming and being smart, who are fascinated with the game of fooling others, who are fascinated with the game of displaying their strength. Now, this set of people are fascinated with it again because it is in the storyline that you will be attracted to these things. Some people are attracted to these things, others are attracted to, say, classical music. Some are attracted to the classical dance. Some are attracted to the painting. Some are attracted to knowledge. Some are attracted to pure knowledge. They are all theoretical people. And some are attracted to applied knowledge. They become engineers, architects, and all these people. So, who is attracted to what? Who is fascinated with what? Again is decided by the storyline, again executed by the spirit, again and the character assumes these are my thoughts, these are my inclinations, these are my choice, these are what I like. No, it is nothing. No character likes anything unless the spirit makes him like. So if someone loves music, it is the spirit that has put in that liking. So our liking and disliking also is put by the spirit according to the storyline. And when you get all these things, you realize that you don't exist. No one exists. All that exists is a robotic structure. Instead of being metallic robot, this is a biological robot. And into this biological robot, the electricity or the battery is put on when the spirit puts in the life force or energy. That is what is switching on the biological robot. The whole thing starts breathing, the blood starts moving, the immune system starts functioning, the digestion starts functioning. What is death? Death just means the spirit has withdrawn from the body. What is life? Spirit coming back. While we are sleeping, the spirit is always with us because some function has to continue even while we are sleeping. Like we have to breathe, our heart has to pump, our immune system has to work, our digestion system have to work. There are a lot of body functions that have to happen. Only thing that happens is that character, instead of being conscious, goes into an unconscious state. This character right now is speaking to you in the sleep. Right now I am in a conscious state. I am perceiving your presence. Once I go into sleep, I am not perceiving anyone's presence except my dream, which is happening within me. Only the dream world I am able to perceive. And if I go into deep sleep, I am not even able to perceive the dreams. So then we say there are no more dreams. And when I wake up, I feel good, I feel fresh. So I assume that my sleep was very good. I do not have memories of the sleep. These are assumptions that I slept very good, very deep. The only thing I am aware of is right now I am feeling good, I am feeling fresh, I am feeling healed, I am feeling energetic. So I assume that in my sleep something very beautiful happened. So I say I had a good sleep. Otherwise we say I had a disturbed sleep, because in the morning when I wake up, I am feeling tired, I am feeling exhausted, I am feeling I want to go back to sleep. That is why we say I had a disturbed sleep. And I remember some of the dreams I had which were spooky, which was creating all kind of anger in me, irritation in me, all kind of negativity in me. So I say I had a disturbed sleep. So disturbed sleep, some memory you have, good sleep, no memory you have, because all your 5 sense organs have totally shut down and you don't remember anything. But because of your experience after you wake up, you are assuming you had a good sleep. Okay?
Thank you. So sometimes we feel very lazy someday, even if we have taken adequate sleep at night of 8 to 9 hours. Still in daytime we feel that आज कुछ करना नहीं है. Still want to sleep in the afternoon again for an hour, and sometimes we work like 24 hours, 26 hours, 30 hours at a stretch.
So here there are two questions. Number one is why we feel so exhausted when we wake up in the morning, and the other question is why we are able to work throughout the day and still feel fresh at the end of the day. So basically what happens in our sleep is our astral body goes out in many places. When an astral body goes out in many places, we happen to experience, let's say the astral body is running, and after running we feel tired, we feel exhausted, but physical body was lying. But experience of that running creates also the experience after running, which is the exhaustion in our body, in spite of the fact we didn't run. That is number one. Number two, many a times the astral body, when it goes out, it absorbs a lot of negative energies. That takes away diminishes our life force, and we feel exhausted when we get up in the morning. Third thing, the astral body sometimes goes and fights with other astral bodies. We don't remember. But at the end it gets a good thrashing, it comes back, we feel again exhausted when we wake up. So these are the few of the scenarios that happens in the astral travel that exhausts us. The other thing that exhausts us is when our body functions go out of balance, because of which it is consuming, it is sometimes like our mobile consumes too much of power, because many apps are running in the background which have not been closed. In the same way, with our body also, many functions are running which are not efficient. So they consume a lot of life energy. It could be just a simple function of digestion. It doesn't have all the digestive juices in the proper order. Now it has to use energy to digest. It is trying to digest, but it consumes a huge amount of energy. With the right chemicals, it would have consumed very less energy. In the absence of the right chemicals, or in the presence of food which is difficult to digest, it consumes more life energy. When it consumes more life energy, when we wake up in the morning, we feel exhausted. So there are many parameters like this which creates the exhaustion. And also many a times nothing of these things have happened, but the spirit did not give the life force that it normally gives us other days in the morning. And then we feel we are not feeling good. I want to lie down. I need a cup of strong coffee or tea, or I don't want to go to work today. So all these things starts happening because the spirit did not give us the life force. The spirit is constantly giving us life force. It is not that it gave us when we were born and it is no more giving us. No, ongoingly it is giving us. Sometimes it withdraws, sometimes it gives more, and the moment it gives more, we are now more alive. Our awareness has become very sharp. Our mind is thinking very clearly. Because even to think clearly, we need life force. Even to have sharpness of awareness, we need life force. When we have more life force, all these things are happening. Our thinking is clear, our perceptions are clear, our decision making is clear, our actions are not confused, we just know what we have to do. So all these things happen because we have adequate or more than adequate life force. You take out the life force, suddenly we are confused, suddenly we are dragging the body, suddenly we are not able to think clearly, suddenly we drop things from our hand, our coordination goes out of balance, and many things start happening because life force is not there. But life force is only one, then there are other things. It could be some negative entities have come in which are doing all these things. It could be that some of your bodies have been taken out which does all these things. So there are many factors which ultimately creates an experience of today I don't feel like working, today I want to go back into the bed, I need a strong coffee or strong tea. So all these things start happening.
And what is the role of dreams in our life? How it is created and what is the goal behind it?
First thing, dreams comes from a place of living a life 24 hours. Even in your sleep, you are living. But now you are living in a virtual world. In a wakeful state, you are living in a real world, comparatively.
Physical and virtual.
Yeah, physical and virtual. Now, in this virtual world, everything is as physical as it is right now in our physical world. We don't feel it is virtual world. It is as physical, which means this physical world can also be an illusion that it is physical. It is a possibility, and there is no way to cross-check it. No scientific instrument can cross-check because the scientific instrument cannot even go into the dream and cross-check that listen, this is how it is a virtual world. So just like science cannot prove the dream to be a virtual world, it cannot prove the waking state as a real world. So we leave aside the scientific part. Coming back to the dreams, which is nothing but a life in the virtual world, basically it happens because we were not willing to deal with life in the waking state either because of our aversion or because of our fear or because of our engagement in other activities. And these things are yet written in the storyline that they have to be lived. And when it is written in the storyline they have to be lived, spirit creates that life in the virtual world because the storyline has to be completed.
Those things which are not possible in physical world,
They
complete it in our
They complete it
virtual
in the virtual world. Now, in the virtual world, if you notice, things happen very fast. It's like one set of event happening, suddenly you jump to another set of event. Here we go gradually, transition. But there you just jump a set of event to event. Many a times the events don't make sense because the life being created there is metaphorical. Here it is logical. Metaphorical means it is having the meanings are created through symbols, through what I would say. So this metaphorical world is symbolic. This metaphorical world is figurative, and when something is symbolic and figurative, it immediately doesn't make sense and we cannot explain it. But to the spirit, it doesn't care for explaining. It just cares that we live it through. We go through it. But to the conscious mind, which is programmed to think in a very logical fashion, they can't grasp the dream.
Exactly. And the time duration is also not matching sometimes. So
yes, it doesn't match.
A dream of years in a few minutes or seconds.
Exactly. It's almost like they can compress the life in time and space, which we cannot do in our physical world, which has everything has its own place, everything has a time sequence, and nothing we can compress or expand. Normally in the dream, very rarely it is expanded, mostly it is compressed. So it's like it is creating a lot of life or living in a very short period of time. So this is what, and of course there are dreams where certain messages are given to you. There are dreams where someone comes and meets you because they are in the non-physical world and they cannot come in the physical world to meet you. So they come in the dream world to meet you. Sometimes you are taken to certain informations which has relevance in your normal day-to-day living, which you can then apply and use it in a certain way. So part of the dream is living the storyline which cannot be lived in the real world. Part of the dream is processing a lot of stuff in a very short period of time. Part of the dream takes you into meeting certain characters who cannot come into the physical world. Part of the dream is giving you informations which cannot be given to you in the waking state. So these are various ways the spirit plays out the dream.
So is there an astral body also which moves around after the death?
Yes.
And that comes in a dream? And
After the death
of a person, the astral body exists in surrounding and giving some message to the other people.
it happens. Many a times the astral bodies, because of their attachment to their family members or to some people, they want to give that message. They cannot give it in the physical world. They then make an attempt to give it in the dream world. And spirit decides whether you will remember that message or you will forget that message. Spirit decides that, depending on whether if it forwards your storyline, you will remember it. If it disturbs your storyline, you will forget it.
What's your take on people experiencing deja vu?
Deja vu is nothing but your energy body going ahead of you and seeing something and by the time, and again it comes back, so you have forgotten it, but by the time again your physical body goes to that place, you have that, you remember that you have seen it, you have been here, it has already happened, and you are seeing it happening again. That is what is deja vu. A part of you goes forward in time and space, sees something, comes back, and you again see it happening again. So basically it is an anomaly in the time-space fabric, because you are not meant to go ahead. Right?
So that is why we feel sometimes that I have been here before.
Yes, that is why you have feel. It could either come from a past life, or it could come from you going there energetically and again revisiting that.
So we are going, means our energy is going ahead. Is somebody physical form must be there, or it is just in time
No, your astral body goes forward.
forward?
So time travel is there as such.
Time travel, theoretically it is possible. Practically it will be decided by the spirit whether you are allowed to time travel or not. Spiritual time travel has happened many a times, but scientists are not interested in the spiritual time travel. They want to time travel using a mechanical device that they go and sit inside, switch, turn certain knobs, and they set the knob in say 1945, press the red button, and they come out of that dome and they are now in 1945. That is what the scientists want. Up till now, in order to do that, you have to break a lot of laws. I am not saying you can't break. What I am saying is only if the spirit allows you to break. And if the spirit allows you to break, it will give you the knowledge of dimensions, it will give you the knowledge of time fabric, it will give you the knowledge of space fabric, it will give you the knowledge of how to move from one place without moving, and again in the next moment, the moment you step out of that vehicle, you are in 1945. So basically you never traveled anywhere. You are here, something happened, and as you step out, it is 1945.
In
Spiritual world, there is no vehicle. There is no physical body. It's all astral, it's all energy bodies. And it is very easy to time travel with energy bodies, because energy body is not restricted by the time space in the third dimension. So energy bodies can exist in the fourth, fifth and higher dimensions where the laws are different. But where the physical body exists, the laws do not allow time travel. But that doesn't mean it cannot happen or it will not happen. It all is up to the spirit whether it will allow it to happen, whether it will allow it to happen only for one person or it will become a common activity. Because if it becomes a common activity, that will have huge consequences. Because if one brick you just move in 1945, imagine the cascading effect at 2024, and that could be disastrous. That's why no one is allowed to time travel, because people want to time travel out of their greed, and in greed they are like, I want to take a memento from here and show to people, listen, this came from 1945. But in order to bring it, he has disturbed so much. So that is one reason. But there are spiritual masters who time travel, they don't touch anything. They don't interact anything. They don't try to save anyone. They observe, come back. They try to learn something in present world from hindsight.
So there is a cartoon series called Simpsons. the person who has created the Simpson character, they are saying that he has time traveled, because whatever he's writing, he has made that cartoon around 10 years, 15 years, 20 years back. The same thing is happening. Even the caricatures what he has in the cartoon, it's the same photograph what we are getting. It is not happened one or two times, it is happening many times.
So again I bring back to your storyline and the spirit. It is there in the storyline that you will access information in the future, and using that information you will create stories in the present. Then your spirit allows your energy bodies to move into the future, look around, come back, use those objects, those informations, and you will write your story here. So this is what happens for certain writers.
Example which Ashish Bhai gave, the soldier example,
Hmm.
who comes back and tries to give messages to the other soldier, the red soldier. So that soldier came in the dreams of these guys. Who orchestrates that?
It was all orchestrated by the spirit.
But that soldier's spirit has already died.
Spirit doesn't die.
The spirit has gone out. So
Spirit has gone out, but it still has access to the astral body. And it can tell the astral body, go and give that message to that other soldier in their dream. So spirit going out means that person has died. But energy bodies are still alive, and the spirit can still use these energy bodies depending on what the soul wrote in the story. Because the story not only is about while you are alive, many a times it goes to after you have died. So they play all these things. Right?
The story, soul has written the storyline, and the spirit is giving the energy. So by seeing this thing, we all humans, we are feeling very helpless, at the same time very hopeless. And should we hope something for better, or that will also spirit will decide that we will be hopeful or we won't be we will be hopeless.
The ego wants to always have hope, always wants to have that better days will happen tomorrow. These are the desires of the ego or the character. So character, ego, all same. Next, character wants to believe I have free will. But this conversation is showing the character does not have any free will. This character is not liking. And why the character does not have a free will? Because it doesn't have any thought of its own. And unless you have your own thought, how can you make your own decision? It doesn't have any energy of its own. If you have no energy, how will you execute your decision? And if you cannot think and if you cannot execute, then where is free will? But the ego is not liking it. So the character says, no, something must be there which is mine, with which I can decide, with which I can act. But when it examines, it finds nothing is there. So what someone says as my thought, basically either it is a thought coming from outside or it is a thought coming from the memory. There are many thoughts coming from the memory. It is like I am remembering when I was 20 years old. It is coming from my memory, not from the outside. But at the point of 20-year-old, that memory got created because the spirit wanted it to be created. Many of us don't have memories of the past because spirit wiped it away. So your question is more coming from a place of something has to be there which is
In our hands.
in our hand. But if you examine it, you will find there is nothing in your hand. Yet, I want to believe that whether I want to go to the washroom or now or after 5 minutes, that is in my hand. Well, that is only in your hand, but if suddenly the pressure becomes terrible, you have to run. Now you can't control that, and you can't decide when the pressure will be terrible. So even that is not in your hand. Someone decides, okay, whether to raise my hand like this or not is in my hand. But suddenly as you brought it up to here and you got one cramp here, you can't now take it up. Or this froze, you can't take it up. Now, was it in your hand? So when you examine, and of course the spirit keeps on giving us impression that we are the captain of our ship, we can create our destiny, we can decide what we want to do, we can decide which people to have in our life and not have in our life, we can decide which activities we will engage with and which activities we will not engage with, we will decide what food we want to eat, what we don't want to eat. What is happening is spirit is giving us the illusion that you are the one who is creating your destiny. But when you examine deeply, you find that this is an illusion given to make you believe that you can do what you want to do. Now there are many people who are helpless and they say, I really don't think I can do much. And there are many people who say, of course I am the captain of my ship, I can do what I want to do. What is the difference between these two people? Again, storyline. In the storyline it is written that you will be given so much of strength, capacity, resources, you will feel you are the creator of your life. And the other person will be beaten so badly with life that this person will become hopeless. This person will say, destiny is the creator of my life. Again, the storyline is making us believe like that. So I tell people, there are so many people, I ask you, do you have any problem? You can talk to this book. They say, no, we don't have any problem. And they say, you are actually selling a placebo. I said, if a placebo works, what is wrong with a placebo? Number one. Number two, do I have any malefic intention in giving people this placebo? So they say the intention is you are making them dependent on you, which means you are being narcissistic. I said, I can understand the way you are saying it, but even if I am narcissistic and there are people who are getting benefit out of my own narcissism, what is your issue? I am not collecting money from people. I am not making them dependent on me in terms of dependent on this physical personality whom they have to come and sit with. I am not making them part of any cult, organization, group, nothing like that. Once I gave the card, my job is over. Then it is between you and the card, whatever you consider the card to be. So this is like how I am intervening in the storyline of the people. But certain people with a strong storyline, they oppose me and then they say, don't. Another thing is, I am giving people superstition. I said, if I am giving people superstition, every religion is a superstition. Why? Because it is accepted without examining. Anything you accept without examining is superstition. But in case of religion, they said, no, that is not superstition. That is faith. I said, you brought in faith in order to legitimize a superstition. You did not bring faith into a conversation called that if the cat crosses my way, something bad will happen to me. You did not bring faith there. But to religion, you brought in faith. And what is a religion basically? It is only a narrative. No one has examined that narrative. But it has been pushed down people's throat, either through fear or through their unconditioned state, where they could not question it. So this is what is superstition. And so those of us who believe, I am the one who makes my destiny, again one is coming from a place of wanting to believe that they have strength and power. Because the moment you say, I really cannot do anything in my life, basically what you are declaring is you have no power, you have no strength. And ego doesn't like that. So it wants to keep on asserting, I can create my destiny.
So that won't make us lazy.
It will not make you lazy for the simple reason if the spirit has given you lot of energy. How can you be lazy? You have to act out. The very definition of energy is it will not allow you to be lazy. And lazy just means you do not have enough energy. So we call it no drive. What is no drive? No energy. That means no life force. Because many people say, if you say everything is written already, I am not going to work because if I am meant to get X amount of money, it will come to me. I said, okay, try out. Remain in your bed the whole day and only go to the washroom and tell your family to bring your food and you will not move from your bed. Let's see how many days you can stay there. Can't, because that thoughts and that energy will drive you and it will take you to those activities which you like, and those activities which you like ultimately will create the money that comes to you. So no one can go out of the storyline because they decided I am going out of the storyline, unless someone like maybe God comes in, but God doesn't change the storyline. But God can change the storyline if God wants to.
Then one of the things you have told that God can make a dent in a storyline.
Maybe God can make a dent, or maybe God works in the gap. Say in my case, God totally changed the storyline. Because my soul did not know that in this lifetime I was going to work for God. So it had already scripted right up till my last breath. And suddenly God came and turned everything around.
So sometimes, like, if we are continuing with our routine, like, for example, I go to college and I study whatever they teach me and whatever, and I come home and I feel that I am not studying anything and I am feeling very lazy, or I don't want to study, or whatever. I think it transplants some guilt that you are not studying, you are being lazy, why are you doing this? And then at the same time you are feeling that no, you are lazy or you don't have to do anything. So why is there double?
This double, what you call as the double mind, as you said, basically they are contradicting thoughts.
Yes.
And what is happening is, this is the way spirit is playing you. If you have only one set of thoughts, you will go into depression. But the other set of thought doesn't allow you to go into the depression. And at the same time, it creates also negativity, which basically is a food. Of course, now our food will not be useful to the king. But while we are alive, we are creating food and feeding a lot of beings in the non-physical every day. They are feeding on the humans. After death, the leftover goes to the king. But every day we are feeding to a lot of negative beings. So because of this, as you said, that guilt comes in. So guilt is a food for them.
And after releasing guilt also, it comes back only. Like, I am experiencing for something that whatever I am releasing, I am not getting any effect.
If you are not getting any effect, maybe the denying forces are not allowing you to get the benefit. So what God says is, okay, leave it at that time. After some time again you do the releasing. Try it after an hour, try it after 2 hours. So somewhere in the gap, God will create the healing.
So, in the whole universe, humans are so little. Still we provide food for the king. Like, the percentage, if you see, like the universe is so large, we are just speck of dust in the whole universe. How can we prepare so much food for the king?
It was the will of God that whatever the humans prepare, you have to eat. Whether one human is creating, or 1 billion human is creating, or 10 billion human is creating, you have to eat. That is the will of God. It is not that the king needs the food. If you are thinking that the king has a hunger which is this big and there are only this many humans, how can this many humans feed this much of fulfill this much of hunger? It is not like that. They don't need anything to eat. Like Shiva needs nothing to eat because they don't have that kind of a body which needs to be nourished, because their body doesn't get depleted. Human body gets depleted, so we need to eat. They don't need to eat, but whatever we create they have to eat. He has to eat. Do you get that?
Yes, but there are humans only on earth. There are
No, that is what God said, only on earth.
only on earth.
But sir, the king has given, God has given king 21 universe. So it is only in this universe. In the rest other 20 universe there is nothing.
There no, I'm not saying there is nothing. There may be plenty of things. Humans are not there.
Humans are only on earth.
Humans are only on earth because humans need a lot of what we call it give and take, and particularly emotionally. You will notice that in this planet, of all the species, we have the maximum emotional quotient, and that makes us very different from all other creations.
If all the people die on earth, then what will happen to king?
Even if all the people die on earth, nothing will happen to the king, because I told you, king doesn't need to eat the food of, let's say, 1 crore humans minimum. It is not like that. If only one human is there, if no one creates the food, okay for the king. But if 10 billion people create the food, he has to eat. So it is like this.
That is why aliens are being created, that if after some time, if humans are not existing, then aliens can be the one.
The game can continue. The game can continue. What he will do with 100% aliens, we do not know. God doesn't say, and the king of course doesn't say. So after all the souls are gone and all the souled humans are gone, whatever humans will then be left with, they will just be biological robots. And what will king do with the biological robots? It's up to the king. That is not our issue. Right now our focus is this, that there is a lot of people who are having suffering and pain. We just go and give them a card and tell them, just try it out for a month and see if this gives you any relief or not. If it gives relief, continue to talk. If it doesn't give relief, drop it away.
But sometimes people are not only listening that we will try for 30 days. They take the guy and say, okay. Then they don't do anything.
Which is perfectly alright. Our consolation is what? Number 1, they have seen the face of God. Number 2, because they saw the face of God, this becomes their last life. Which means they don't again have to come back into the world of suffering. And number 3, their soul is going back home. This is our motivation. So even after we gave and they returned the card, or they kept it in the purse, never took it out, or they went home and just dropped it in the dustbin, makes no difference to us. Job is done.
So in Pune recently, I came at the time of that meditation comes under the realm of king. So but sir, if I am very angry, frustrated, or in a negative emotions, I generally keep my eyes closed and just meditate. So it calms me down. So doesn't it help me?
You see, there are many things in the world of king that helps you. There is no denial of that. But it connects you with the king. Now God did not say stop eating food because food is getting created in the world of the king. God did not say stop using the car because car is created in the world of the king. God has said only 2 things. Do not disconnect from anything that is religious, and disconnect anything that is spiritual. Only these 2 directives God has given, and meditation falls in the spiritual. And you know why meditation is called spiritual? only because of one reason, that when you try to close your eyes and you try to empty your mind, what do you connect with? Do you have an answer? Do you know what you are connecting with?
Inner body.
The king,
But you are not connecting with the king directly.
nothingness.
Nothing, no, you are connecting with something. You are connecting with the spirit. And when someone connects with the spirit, they start cooling down. Basically, you are saying you start cooling down. And because you connect with the spirit, that is why it is known as spiritual. And that is why it is known as spiritual journey. Which means you are journeying with the spirit, not with the soul. So even though you might find it cooling you down, God gave you another option, release. Which means just keep talking to the God and see whether that works or not. In the end, God says, if you find the realm of the king to be more beneficial for you, realm of the king means religious world and the spiritual world, more beneficial for you, continue with those two worlds. God has not stopped us, because God's job is done the moment you have seen the face of God, right?
गॉड के साथ रहा चालू किया है ना, तो इंटरेस्ट बहुत कम हो गया, तो एंजॉय तो कर ही नहीं पाया. मतलब जो खुशी मिलनी चाहिए ना, जो एंजॉयमेंट होती है ना, वो अभी नहीं मिलती है. ऐसा लगता है कि सब हाँ भाई होने वाला है.
एक्चुअली एंजॉयमेंट को आप थोड़ा समझ लो. अब तक हम एंजॉयमेंट जिसे कहते थे वो दरअसल एक्साइटमेंट था, वो एंजॉयमेंट नहीं था. वो दरअसल एक दीवानगी था, जैसे एक पैशन था, वो एंजॉयमेंट नहीं था. एंजॉयमेंट जो होता है इट इज़ वेरी सबलाइम. एंजॉयमेंट का मतलब है ना मेरे उसके लिए कोई लगाव है, ना मेरे लिए उसके प्रति कोई द्वेष है. मैं एक न्यूट्रल स्टेट में उसके साथ रिश्ता बनाए रखता हूँ. ना मैं उसे अपने पास आने में रोकता हूँ, ना उसे मैं अपने पास पकड़ के रखने की कोशिश करता हूँ. वो होता है एन्जॉयमेंट. एन्जॉयमेंट बेसिकली वर्ड जो है इट इज़ एन मीन्स टू कनेक्ट, जॉय मीन्स यू आर कनेक्टिंग विद जॉय. बट जॉयस स्टेट इज़ ए प्लेस ऑफ बैलेंस. जॉय का दूसरा नाम है बैलेंस. यू आर बीइंग इन बैलेंस. बट कुछ लोगों के लिए जॉय मीन्स एक्साइटमेंट. जैसे कि मान लीजिए कि मुझे मीठा बहुत अच्छा लगता है और कोई अभी बोलता है कि गुलाब जामुन आने वाला है एंड ऑलरेडी माई माउथ हैज स्टार्टेड वाटरिंग, मीन्स आई एम नाउ एंटिसिपेटिंग ए प्लेजर. और उस प्लेजर को सोचते हुए ऑलरेडी आई हैव स्टार्टेड एंजॉइंग द गुलाब जामुन, बट दैट इज नॉट एंजॉइंग. एन्जॉयमेंट के अंदर कोई प्लेजर फैक्टर नहीं रहता है, कोई पैशन नहीं रहता है, कोई कंपल्शन नहीं रहता है. इट्स अ वेरी प्लेस ऑफ बैलेंस, सीरीन, काम. सो इस वर्ड को दरअसल हमने इस तरह इस्तेमाल किया कि एक्चुअली उसके एक्सपीरियंस को हम भूल गए. सो अगर आप एंजॉय कर रहे हैं किसी चीज़ को, इट मीन्स यू आर बीइंग विद दैट विदाउट clutching and without pushing. So right now what you are saying is I am not able to enjoy. Basically you are saying you don't feel the excitement like before, and you don't feel the pleasure like before, and you don't feel the thrill like before, and these are the things which are missing, so you feel you are not enjoying. But these three things has nothing to do with enjoying. Each one of them are a state which is a state of anticipation of pleasure. It's like मान लीजिए I get a contract, business contract, big business contract, and I feel very happy. Where is the happiness coming from? Happiness is coming from anticipation. Anticipation means what? Basically, what do I have in my hand? Someone said, you are to supply me material worth 10 crores. How can I be happy with that? But my anticipation says, When 10 crores will come to me, I will give 8 crores to all these people. I will have 2 crores in my hand. First pleasure. Second pleasure. I will buy this. I will go there. Third pleasure. It gives me a place of I am someone who is capable. So when I feel I am capable, it gives me pleasure. So again I am anticipating that I am a capable person, and this will prove that I am capable. So basically that happiness, where is it coming from? It comes from anticipation. Tomorrow something will happen which is making me happy today, right now. Only I have in my hand is a business contract, which itself is no reason to be happy. I am only happy because of my imagination, where I am creating lot of series of events because of this paper. So in the same way in life, everything you will notice is just this kind of paper, where your imagination creates the pleasure and happiness. But in enjoying, there is no imagination, because now you are in the present. For imagining, you have to be in the future. And in the present, you are just being with. Like I am talking with you, I am just being with you. This is enjoying. You don't give me any kind of happiness. You don't give me any kind of pleasure. You don't give me any kind of anticipation. You don't give me any kind of future. Yet I am enjoying, because I am not judging you, because I don't want to change you, because I am not feeling threatened by you, because I am not trying to buy your approval, because I am not trying to convince you about what I am saying. Because of all these things I am enjoying you. Any of these things come in, now I am not enjoying you. I cannot then enjoy you. So this is what is enjoying. And that can happen now. Because in enjoyment there is no pleasure, there is no anticipation, there is no future, there is no imagination, there is no thrill, there is no excitement.
So day-to-day activity will become dull.
It will not become dull, because dull is again a place of two things. Number one, you are disappointed, and number two, lack of energy. This creates the dullness. It's just that as I am talking with him, there is no dullness here. In enjoying, you are alive, because you can be with something, someone, totally. Neither wanting anything, neither resisting anything. So there is no dullness. And then let's say my energy. Right now I have got energy to talk. Now suddenly the conversation is over. My energy goes down till another conversation starts. And if this meeting ends, my energy will go down further. Because then what do I need the energy for? Just for my eating, sleeping, or maybe driving a car. So I will be working with minimum energy. I don't need much energy. But when I am carrying out a conversation, I need more energy. Particularly my voice is going out. Particularly a lot of processing is happening. Particularly I am connecting with the other person, dealing with his energy, dealing with his thoughts, dealing with his emotions. So it needs energy. If I am dull, I cannot deal with it. Then I will become an energy vampire. I will start taking energy from him because I am dull. There are many people who are energy vampires. They go out and grab others' energy and deplete them.
So you said a few minutes ago there are two people. One is having energy. The spirit is giving him the energy to be ambitious, and the other is not giving him the energy to. So that person is lazy, and that person thinks that he can achieve whatever he wants. Everything is in his hands, and the other guy thinks that nothing is in hand. So both are right. Both are correct, right? Neither
Both are
one is
correct.
wrong.
No one is wrong. They are being driven by in a different way. It's something like you have a car, the normal passenger car, 100 to 150 max, and your car starts rattling. But if you have one of those sports car, even with 200, forget about rattling, you can take it up to 400 even, and it will be still smooth because it is geared for that. So when a spirit gears a body mind for success, it gears it up many ways, not only energy. The way that body mind thinks, the way that body mind acts, the way that body mind interacts with other body mind, the way that body mind comes across, the way the body mind has the attitude. So lot of things are put in place in order for success to happen. But even this way success cannot happen unless a door is opened in which that person can go and act. Just because the spirit created the body mind doesn't mean success will happen. Some door has to open. So for a politician, a door can be an election and then winning the election. For a businessman, it can be meeting other businessmen, giving a proposal and they accepting it. So these are the ways. For a teacher, a school giving them a placement, and this teacher can go to the students and teach. So different people have different doors that needs to open for them to be successful. A scientist, how can a scientist be successful? He needs an idea that is totally out of the box. Who will give the idea? It doesn't come because he is contemplating. It comes when he has given up. He has seen through all the possibilities of everything he had learnt up till now. And then he waits. And suddenly pop, that idea comes. Given by the spirit. Now the scientist says, I thought it. No scientist says, someone came and gave it. Because if someone came and gave it, how can I make it a copyright? So when you live in the world of copyright, you have to say, I thought it.
Sir, now you came, so like everybody started feeling the God's energy. Everybody started crying and like fingertips पे feeling आता है ना, वो सबको आता है but मुझे कभी आता नहीं. ऐसा क्यों होता है?
आपको भी नहीं आता और मुझे भी नहीं आता है, क्योंकि वो सेंसिटिविटी जो है बॉडी का, वो आपके पास भी नहीं है, मेरे पास भी नहीं है. जैसे कुछ लोग एनर्जी को फील करते हैं, कुछ लोग एनर्जी को फ्लो होते हुए फील करते हैं, रूम के अंदर एंटर करते हैं, उसके एनर्जी को फील कर पाते हैं. बट आई कैन नॉट डू, यू ऑल्सो कैन नॉट डू, एंड इट इज़ ओके. उस तरह से हमें बनाया नहीं गया है. वो सेंसिटिविटी हमारे बॉडी में नहीं है.
So it differs from person to person.
It differs from person to person and it is okay. उसको लाने की कोशिश मत कीजिए, क्योंकि unnecessarily टाइम बिगड़ेगा. जो दिया है उसके अंदर हमें काम करने का है. So always work within what you have been given, not what you want in your life. If you try to create what you want, you will lose huge amount of energy and huge amount of time. If you work with what you have, you will be able to use them immediately and with less energy. And you will get a better output. And you don't have to prove anything to the world that I can do this and I can do that. It is not about proving. Life is not about proving to the world what you can do. Life is about living life with what has been given to you. Those who try to prove to the world, they mess up their life. Those who live and enjoy what they have been given, they have minimum problems in their life. So this is, it's like a formula. How do I live? If you live like this, enjoying what you have, you will have less issues in life. If you try to prove to the world, listen, I am smart, I am good, I am great, I am knowledgeable, I am this, that, you will have more problem. Maybe you will succeed, maybe people will make an icon out of you, but you will not be happy. And in the end, what matters is your happiness. It doesn't matter that you are going to create a name for you after you die. That doesn't matter because you are not there after you die. So whether people talk about you or remember you, it doesn't matter. What matters is today, are you enjoying what you are doing? What is enjoying? Being with. How can you be with when you are not distracted in your head? How can you not be distracted in your head when you are not imagining? And normally what people do, they are imagining. Right now I am preparing for my exam and I will pass my 12th and then I will go to that particular college, take that particular subject and then I will complete my degree and then I will sit in the competitive exam and I will go to that postgraduate thing and I will complete that. Then I will work in a organization where my salary package should start from this much amount. Now you are not with that textbook in front of you. You are in your imaginary world. So most of us live in imagination. No one enjoys. Right now you are not enjoying what is written in this textbook. And enjoying is not about having pleasure. It is about being with, which means you are reading and you are saying, okay, this is what the writer wants to say. Basically, textbook is about someone trying to say something and you are trying to understand what is he trying to say, right?
Sir, one more question. Very controversial question.
Controversial, okay.
Does money buy happiness?
Does money buy happiness? One guy said it buys 95% of the happiness. And a person like Jim Carrey says, I want every person in this world to be rich so that they ultimately come to know that money doesn't buy anything. So the person who didn't become Jim Carrey says 95% happiness money can bring. A person like Jim Carrey says no happiness money can bring. At the most it can give you some convenience, some comfort. But the problem with comfort is it will destroy your body. People become fat. People lose their vitality. People lose their capacity to work. People now need air condition. People cannot tolerate heat, cannot tolerate the dust, cannot tolerate dirt. In the name of hygiene, they become more prone to disease because their immunity has gone down. So basically, what have you done? With your money, you brought all the best things in life, but you restricted yourself. So, where is happiness? On the contrary, people who are full of money, they are more bored than the people who have less money. Boredom is maximum with people who are happy, who are rich. And people who are just like a laborer, they come to that tea stall and they are having chit chat, a heated discussion about politics, then go back to their work, do their work, come back home, go to the movie theater or do something, and then sleep at the night. They have a good sleep because they have worked a lot throughout the day. Now the body needs sleep. But a guy who is very rich, who is not even getting up to put the switch on, all the remotes are in front of him, light the switch, light on, light off, AC on, AC off, TV on, TV off. He is not getting up from the chair even, or from the bed, or that reclining chair. Over a period of few months, what has happened? Added lot of weight, lost vitality, digestion not working. So now he has to go to all the massage parlor because he has money. So someone then works on his body because he is not working. So someone makes the body work.
But it's not always that the rich people are always lazy. There are many rich people who keep their health fit, eat healthy food,
They do,
don't even show up.
but their richness did not touch them. Matlab, they became rich, but they did not enter into a life of comfort. They are still working out as if they don't have the money. They are using a vehicle in order to shorten a distance in terms of time so that they can engage more with their work or people. So they may be traveling in a helicopter from this point to this point, not in order to show off, but in order to engage with more people, more work area, more work, and all those things. So they are not allowing their richness to become happy. They are using their richness as a part of shortening or as a part of bringing in more work that they can do, because they are making time available to them. But this has got nothing to do with happiness, the question that you asked. It just has to do with efficiency. It just has to do with being able to pack in more engagements within the limited time that they have. So money did not buy happiness, and they did not allow their life to come to a place of comfort. So they are basically working out on their body, they are working out on having good habits, they are working on about their sleep, everything they are ensuring that it is properly taken care of, body gets what it needs. They are not overeating. They don't enter into discussions which are non-productive and which are detrimental. So this is the way they are keeping themselves fit. Nothing to do with happiness. But yes, if you are not fit, you will be unhappy. But if you are fit, it doesn't mean you are happy. Because happiness, what does it mean? It just is associated with pleasure. You are imagining, if you are loving pizza, you are right now imagining after 1 hour, I will go to that pizza outlet and have that particular pizza. This is happiness. But it comes from imagination. Pizza is just something you are putting in to appease your hunger. At the same time, the taste is not repulsive. But if that taste becomes your habit or compulsion, you will end up eating more pizza because you are enjoying the taste. And the word is not enjoying, you are having pleasure from the taste. So these people are very careful that they do not allow the pleasure to come into the taking care of their body and taking care of their time. Right?
It is difficult to forgive.
It is difficult to forgive someone, it is true. But we don't have to forgive anyone. We only have to tell God, I am not able to forgive that person. And then we may add, may I have your grace, God. Let God create that forgiveness. Let God create the healing in us because of which forgiveness happens. And when forgiveness happens, we will not be anymore thinking of that person in a negative way. That is the test that forgiveness has happened. Normally, whenever the memory of that person will come, it will bring in anger, it will bring in resentment, it will bring in irritation, it will bring in wanting to teach that person a lesson. But when I have forgiven, even with the memory of that person, no negative thoughts are coming, which means now forgiveness has happened. Till that time, I keep on offering, I am not able to forgive that person. Let God do the healing. So it is as simple as that. Now many times what happens is some modalities say, some people say that you must go and ask that person for forgiveness. You must go and tell that person that you have forgiven. But God always says never do that, it will create drama in life. That person will feel good and say okay, or that person will come into an opportunity to hit you back. So there is never a need to go to someone and say, I have forgiven you or I forgive you. Always tell God, I am not able to forgive that person. Another thing you must also tell that I am not able to forgive myself. Because when we are not able to forgive another person, automatically what comes in us is, I am not able to forgive me for being weak and letting that person hurt me.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Let's say that I am angry on you because you hurt me. So I am not able to forgive you, but I am also not able to forgive myself because I allowed you to hurt me, and because I feel I am so weak that I could not hold my strength in front of you. Because of that I am angry on myself also. I am angry on you and I am also angry on myself. So basically all healing has to happen here, nothing to do with you, because both are happening inside me. And if both are happening inside me, there is a double forgiveness that God has to heal. My anger on you and my anger on me. Clear? All I am saying is I am not able to forgive that person and I am not able to forgive myself. In each, may I have your grace, God.